Shedeur Sanders isn't playing, and the NFL is paying the price. You can see it in the stands. Week after week, seats that were once impossible to find are now glaringly empty. The buzz in Cleveland has turned into a low hum of frustration, replaced by yawns and crossed arms. Games that should have been events are now snooze fests. Entire rows of fans vanish before halftime, as if the crowd collectively realized they could be at home watching literally anything else.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
You can see it on the broadcasts. The camera pans across stadiums, and instead of packed houses, you see patches of empty bleachers that look more like preseason practice than regular season games. The commentators fill dead air with forced enthusiasm, but the energy isn't there. You can't fake electricity when the fans themselves have checked out. And you can see it in the ratings. Networks are quietly panicking as numbers slide downward. The Sunday afternoon slots that used to pull in casual viewers like moths to a flame are losing traction. The primetime matchups that once owned the night are starting to fall behind NBA regular season games or even reality shows. Think about that, reality shows. All because the Browns refuse to put Shedeur Sanders on the field. It sounds dramatic, right? That one player's absence could cause this much chaos? But that's exactly the point. The NFL has built its empire on stars. On the guys who make you drop what you're doing to watch. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. You tune in for the aura as much as the game. You want to see the impossible plays, the jaw-dropping highlights, the performances that feel bigger than sports. And Shedeur Sanders was supposed to be the next in that line. He had the story, the charisma, the family legacy, the talent, the swagger. Fans wanted him, not just in Cleveland, but across the league. The NFL had a golden ticket in its hands, a player who could instantly elevate ratings and sell out stadiums in cities he wasn't even playing in. And instead of cashing in, Cleveland shoved him in a corner. This isn't just a Browns mistake anymore. It's a league-wide crisis. Because when one team fumbles the chance to unleash a generational talent, the ripple effects hit everyone. Sponsors see fewer eyeballs. Broadcasters struggle to fill airtime with anything compelling. Fans lose faith in the product. And in a league that depends on hype, excitement, and spectacle, that's catastrophic. Fans aren't just mad, they feel betrayed. Think about it. This isn't some obscure draft pick nobody expected to see for years. This was the guy they were promised would change the energy in Cleveland. This was the quarterback they bought jerseys for before he even played a down. And now he's in sweats on the sideline, while the offense runs through predictable schemes and uninspired veterans. It's like buying tickets to see Beyoncé and finding out she's sitting in the back row while a wedding band plays covers on stage. The outrage is boiling over. Social media is filled with posts calling out Jimmy Haslam and Kevin Stefanski by name. Fans are dragging the Browns' leadership for ruining the future and killing the hype before it even began. Hashtags demanding Shedeur start trend every Sunday, drowning out actual game highlights. And the Browns' answer? Silence. Excuses. The same tired lines about development and sticking to the plan. The plan? The plan is failing. Because while the Browns cling to outdated philosophies, the fan base is walking out. And it's not just Cleveland. This is hurting the entire NFL. Empty stadiums aren't just a Browns problem. They're a league image problem. Every shot of a lifeless crowd in Cleveland becomes a meme about the NFL losing its grip. Every ratings dip is ammunition for critics who've been waiting years to say football's dominance is slipping. Every angry fan ranting into their phone on TikTok is another piece of evidence that the league has stopped listening to the people who made it powerful in the first place. You can't market yourself as the greatest show in sports when the guy everyone came to see is holding a clipboard. And the parallels to Kobe Bryant's early career? They're unavoidable. Kobe sat. Kobe was underestimated. Kobe was told to wait his turn. But once he broke through, once he finally got his minutes, he didn't just play. He dominated. He became bigger than basketball. And looking back, we laugh at the idea that anyone thought he should have been held back. That's where we are with Shedeur Sanders right now. The difference? The NBA eventually figured it out. They got out of Kobe's way and let him become a star. The Browns, and by extension the NFL, are still stumbling around in the dark, too scared to let Shedeur take the wheel. And that's where the real danger lies. Because Shedeur isn't going to wait forever. The fans aren't going to wait forever. The sponsors, the broadcasters, the casual viewers, they're not going to wait forever. If Cleveland doesn't act, someone else will. And when that happens, the Browns won't just lose. They'll become the cautionary tale. The team that had a golden ticket and set it on fire. The NFL cannot afford that kind of storyline. Not when attendance is dropping. Not when younger audiences are already splitting time with NBA, UFC, or even esports. Not when the league's entire business model depends on producing superstars that keep people glued to the screen. The Browns think they're managing risk. But in reality, they've created the riskiest situation of all. A league that looks boring. And for football, boring is death. So what happens next? Either the Browns cave to the pressure and let Shedeur play, or the storm keeps building until it swallows them whole. Maybe that storm takes Stefanski's job. Maybe it tarnishes Haslam's reputation. Maybe it forces the league to step in and quietly push Cleveland toward the inevitable. Because make no mistake, the NFL itself has a stake in this. They can't afford for one of their brightest young names to rot on the sideline, while fans check out and ratings slide. The Browns thought they were avoiding chaos. What they've actually done is ignite a league-wide crisis. And unless they course-correct fast, this isn't just Cleveland's problem anymore. It's the NFL's. So let me ask you, has Cleveland already poisoned their relationship with the fans beyond repair? Should Shedeur Sanders force the issue and demand a trade to a team that actually wants him? And do you think the NFL, as a whole, is finally realizing how fragile their empire looks without young stars carrying the torch? Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just about one quarterback. It's about the future of the league itself. And if you want every twist, meltdown, and power struggle from inside the NFL's crumbling facade, hit that subscribe button. Because this isn't just Cleveland's mess, it's the league's nightmare. And Shedeur Sanders? He might just be the only one who can save it. Shedeur Sanders. The league's golden ticket. The Browns' supposed future. The player fans begged to see. And the Browns, in their infinite wisdom, decided to hide him. To smother the hype. To force him into irrelevance. And what's the result? Stadiums half empty. Ticket sales in free fall. Ratings bleeding week after week. It's not a coincidence. The NFL has tied its own hands by allowing one of its most exciting young prospects to sit idle. And the fans have responded the only way they know how, by walking away. It's dramatic, sure, but look at the pictures. Look at the drone shots of stadiums that used to pulse with energy, now dotted with bare, aluminum bleachers. Look at the broadcasts, where the cameras avoid wide shots because they don't want to show the sea of empty seats. Look at the concession stands, where vendors stand around with trays of untouched nachos. This is supposed to be America's game. This is supposed to be untouchable. And yet the absence of one man, one quarterback, one spark, has turned the atmosphere into a funeral march. What makes it worse is the betrayal. Fans didn't just hope Shedeur would play, they were promised it. They were sold on it. The jerseys went on sale. The marketing machine revved up. The franchise teased him as the savior of Cleveland football. And then, when it came time to deliver, they yanked the rug out. They told fans to wait. They told them to be patient. They told them to trust the system. But Cleveland fans don't trust the system. How could they? The system has been failing them for decades. The system has given them heartbreak after heartbreak, quarterback after quarterback, excuse after excuse. And now, when they finally had something worth believing in, the Browns pulled the same old move. Sit him. Protect the veterans. Delay the future. It's not just a football mistake. It's a business catastrophe. Because the NFL doesn't live on tradition alone. It lives on spectacle. It lives on must-watch moments. It lives on fans buying into the idea that every Sunday could deliver something they'll remember forever. And Shedeur Sanders was ready-made for that. He had the skill, the pedigree, the charisma. He was box office before he even stepped on the field. The Browns didn't just ignore that, they actively suppressed it. And now, the league is paying the price. Attendance is cratering. The buzz is gone. The Browns are no longer a team people tune in to watch. They're a team people tune out of spite. Fans aren't debating Shedeur's highlights. They're debating why he's not playing. The NFL thought they could ride the wave of tradition, but tradition doesn't sell tickets. Highlights do. The Kobe Bryant comparison is haunting. Kobe sat as a rookie, buried behind veterans who weren't nearly as dynamic. His coach, Del Harris, thought it was better to play it safe. And for a time, the world barely noticed him. But when Kobe finally broke through, when he finally got his minutes, he redefined the sport. He became bigger than the team, bigger than the league, bigger than anyone imagined. And now the NFL is staring at the same situation. The question is, do they learn the lesson, or do they repeat the mistake? Because here's the reality. Shedeur Sanders isn't just Cleveland's story. He's the NFL's. He represents the next wave of superstars, the players who keep the league alive for the next generation. Every time he sits, every time he's held back, the league itself grows weaker. This isn't just a Browns problem. This is a league problem. Sponsors are noticing. Networks are noticing. You think ESPN and Fox are happy when ratings nosedive during Browns games? You think advertisers are thrilled when audiences check out early? You think the league office is blind to the fact that the excitement is slipping? Football is a business, and right now business is bad. And yet the Browns cling to their excuses. Stefanski still talks about development. Haslam still hides behind the idea of long-term stability. They act like this is some noble plan, like they're protecting Shedeur from the spotlight. But that's not what this is. This is fear. This is control. This is an organization more worried about being wrong than being bold. And bold is exactly what the fans are demanding. Every Sunday, you hear it. Chants of "We want Shedeur" echoing in stadiums that should have been deafening with cheers. Every week, hashtags explode across social media. Every week, fans threaten boycotts, mock the front office, drag Stefanski's name through the mud. The message couldn't be clearer. Play him or lose us. And here's the kicker. The NFL cannot afford to lose them. The league's entire identity is built on the idea that it's the center of American culture. That Sundays belong to football. That no matter what, the NFL dominates. But if fans start walking away, if stadiums start emptying, if ratings keep sliding, that identity crumbles. It's already happening. NBA games are starting to pull higher numbers on certain nights. UFC cards are chipping away at the primetime slots. Even streaming shows are competing with football broadcasts. The NFL isn't competing with other sports anymore. It's competing with everything. And without stars like Shedeur Sanders on the field, without the spectacle, without the highlights, they're losing that fight. The Browns thought they were playing it safe. But what's safe about alienating your fans? What's safe about driving down ticket sales? What's safe about tanking your own ratings? This isn't safe, it's suicidal. The instant karma here isn't subtle. It's loud. It's visible. It's humiliating. Every empty seat, every angry tweet, every dip in the ratings is karma written in bold letters. The Browns thought they were protecting the franchise. Instead, they've become the laughingstock of the league. And the NFL is caught in the blast radius. So what happens now? The Browns have two choices. They can keep digging, keep doubling down, keep hiding Shedeur while their stadiums turn into ghost towns. Or they can admit it. They can swallow their pride, hand him the reins, and let him do what everyone knows he's capable of. The longer they wait, the worse it gets. The louder the fans get, the emptier the stadiums become. The more the NFL suffers. Because this isn't just about Cleveland anymore. This is about the future of football. The NFL is supposed to be bigger than any one player. But right now, the league is shrinking because of one player's absence. And that should terrify them. The Browns, in their trademark way of fumbling the bag in the most spectacular fashion possible, decided not to give it to them. Think about this. For months, the hype machine around Shedeur was unstoppable. Every sports show debated when he'd play. Fans bought jerseys before he even took a snap. The Browns suddenly mattered again, not because of what they had done, but because of what they could do. Hope was alive in Cleveland, something that hasn't happened since the days of Bernie Kosar, if we're being honest. And then, when the moment came to deliver, they slammed the brakes. Jimmy Haslam and Kevin Stefanski sat Shedeur Sanders down. They told fans to wait. They gave us speeches about development, about trusting the process, about long-term stability. And the fans didn't buy it. Not this time. Not after decades of being sold snake oil and disappointment. You could almost hear the collective groan echo across the league. Another Browns quarterback destined to be wasted. Another spark smothered before it could ignite. And that groan has now turned into silence. The kind of silence that kills atmospheres, empty stadiums, and shows up in the form of plummeting ratings. Turn on a Browns game now, and it doesn't feel like an event. It feels like a chore. The stands are dotted with empty seats, whole rows abandoned before halftime. The energy is gone. Fans are tuning out. And for the NFL, that's terrifying. Because for the first time in a long time, the league isn't growing, it's shrinking. Look at the numbers. Ratings are dipping in markets where Sanders was supposed to shine. Ticket sales are stalling in Cleveland, where he was supposed to be the draw. Even merchandise, the bread and butter of hype, is stagnant. Shedeur's jerseys sell, but everything else? Collecting dust. That's the power of star players. They don't just drive their own brand. They elevate the league around them. They create must-see TV. They fill stadiums, they sell sponsorships. They fuel highlight reels that go viral worldwide. Without them, the NFL looks ordinary. And the NFL cannot afford to look ordinary. This is why the Shedeur situation is so much bigger than Cleveland. It's not just a Browns problem, it's an NFL crisis. Because the league depends on hype. It depends on spectacle. And right now, one of its biggest potential spectacles is sitting on the sideline invisible. And here's the cruel irony. Every time the Browns hold Shedeur back, they make him bigger. Fans aren't just disappointed, they're furious. Furious at Haslam. Furious at Stefanski. Furious at the endless cycle of wasted potential. Furious at being told to trust the plan, when the plan has delivered nothing but heartbreak for decades. It's a betrayal. A slap in the face to a fan base that's already given everything. These are people who stuck with the Browns through 0 to 16, who wore paper bags over their heads and still showed up, who celebrated like they won the Super Bowl when the team just won a single playoff game. And now, when they finally had something to believe in, management decided to take it away. The result? Empty stadiums, muted broadcasts, chants of "We want Shedeur" louder than cheers for actual touchdowns. The product isn't just stale, it's toxic. The Kobe Bryant comparison is almost painful. Remember Kobe as a rookie? He was raw, sure, but he was explosive. He had moments that made you sit up in your chair. And yet, he was benched, held back by a coach too obsessed with playing it safe. Del Harris thought veterans were the answer. But the fans knew. They saw the talent. They demanded more. And, eventually, Kobe got his minutes, and the rest is history. That's where we are right now, with Shedeur Sanders. The only difference? This isn't the NBA. The NFL doesn't get as many chances to build global stars. When you waste one, you don't just hurt the team, you hurt the entire league. The Browns are sitting on gold and pretending it's scrap metal. And the league is letting them. And every week, the cost grows. The cost is measured in ticket sales, in empty seats, in broadcasts no one watches, in sponsors who start questioning why they're paying top dollar to be attached to a product that looks tired. The Browns think they're playing it safe. But safe doesn't sell. Safe doesn't inspire. Safe doesn't keep fans glued to their TVs. Safe is the reason stadiums are half empty. Safe is the reason kids aren't begging their parents for Browns jerseys. Safe is the reason the NFL looks like it's losing its shine. This isn't just bad football strategy, it's bad business. And Jimmy Haslam is learning that lesson in real time. Because here's the kicker. The instant karma is already here. His stadium is empty. His fans are angry. His franchise is a joke. And the league he's part of is paying the price. Shedeur Sanders was supposed to be the answer. Instead, he's become the question. And that question is simple. How long can the NFL afford to waste its stars before the fans stop caring altogether? The cracks are already showing. NBA players are becoming global icons, while NFL stars feel regional. UFC fighters are dominating social media, while NFL broadcasts struggle to trend. Even Formula One, of all things, is capturing younger audiences in ways football used to. The NFL's monopoly on attention is slipping. And if it can't figure out how to showcase their young stars, it'll slip faster than anyone expects. The Browns think they're protecting Shedeur. But what they're really doing is killing their own relevance. Every game he doesn't play is another opportunity lost, another chance for fans to walk away. And those fans aren't coming back. Once you break that bond, once you make them feel ignored, it's over. That's why this isn't just a mistake, it's a disaster, a crisis, a slow-motion collapse happening right in front of us. And unless the Browns change course, unless the NFL steps in, the damage could last for years. Because fans don't forgive betrayal. They don't forget wasted chances. And right now, the Browns are wasting more than a quarterback. They're wasting the one thing this franchise, this league, cannot afford to lose: belief. So the question is, how long before something breaks? How long before Shedeur Sanders himself speaks up, demands out, and takes his star power somewhere else? How long before the fans stop chanting and start disappearing? How long before the league realizes that protecting the process has turned into strangling its future? The clock is ticking. And every second Shedeur Sanders spends holding a clipboard instead of throwing touchdowns is another second of damage done, not just to the Browns, but to the NFL itself. So what do you think? Has Cleveland already sabotaged Shedeur beyond repair? Should the NFL step in to save itself from this disaster? And do you believe fans will keep showing up if the stars they came to see are never allowed to shine? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear from you. And if you're as addicted to the chaos, drama, and outright absurdity of this league as I am, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Because if the Browns don't wake up soon, we might not just be watching the downfall of a franchise. We might be witnessing the unraveling of the NFL's entire grip on America.